Hi, Sharmila ma'am. This is Nadia from Zen Onco and Love Heals Cancer. We guide cancer patients on adopting an integrative oncological treatment approach. We help them find the balance between medical treatment and complementary treatment approaches. We help patients with our team of oncologists, lab experts, nutritionists, and other healthcare professionals so that the entire outcome of treatment for the patient is at its best. We also help by connecting patients with other cancer warriors and cancer survivors like yourself here today
Yes.
who have gone through such a journey to address their queries and these
Mm.
inspirational journeys so that they are documented in such a way that people look up to the kind of motivation and inspiration that they can get from it, right?
Right. Right.
Today we have Sharmila ma'am here who is going to share with us her extremely inspirational story. I myself can't wait to hear what she has to say. And I'm pretty sure all the viewers out there are definitely looking forward to this story. Ma'am, this is your story. The whole world is listening. Please take it from
Yes.
here, ma'am.
Okay. Where do I start from? Um, so it's even though I got the cancer last year. Sorry for the plane. I stay right under the flight path. Okay. Uh, so for me, I have been on a soul searching for a very long time. Um, by soul searching, I mean trying to understand who I am, what is the purpose of my journey in this world. It has been predominantly thanks to my parents. They both were on the spiritual journey, and I learned a lot from them. But before I could go into that, there was a lot of turbulence which is going on in my life. I got separated from my marriage. Um, I had to take care of my daughter, who's now fully grown up, and uh, she's happy in her life. But those turbulent times were there, and a lot of hardships I went through. So somewhere it uh, had a residue in me, and I was, I think, not taking care of my body. So when I started getting deeper into the spiritual line, I got connected with meditation. I've learned various techniques of Reiki, pranic healing, and I've got my, you could say, Diksha from Avdut Baba Shivananji. It's called Shiv Yoga. So that's a very deep meditation I've been practicing since the last 10 years. And 2 years down the line, uh, I just kept thinking that I need to balance my body, mind, soul. And that's when I realized that my body is not fit. I am obese. Okay? And I have not taken care of my body and all the turmoil and everything that I went through. So I had started, the practice of accepting myself as I am, forgiving myself, and loving myself unconditionally. But somewhere, it stays somewhere or the other. And I have these chota mota dialogues with the universe, my spiritual guides and all that. So they said, okay, that's a very good thing that you want to do, but uh, your body is not fit. You have to get the body fit. So this was in 2018, beginning of 2018. I had the dialogue with them, and I had gone to my daughter's place in the US in the summertime, and in August I fell sick. That's the first time the body said, it needs healing, and I had got an ovarian cyst, and it was a very big pus which had formed there. Um, so I had to be hospitalized and taken care of. Um, all those treatments happened. I got taken care of, and I came back home in India, and I was doing all the checkups. The ultrasound and everything. They seemed fine. The uterus was fine. The ovaries and everything. Then around May it started. So when you look at symptoms, we should be looking at the symptoms like you were saying. Na? I was not aware of it. At the same time, I was going through my the menopause period. So I was going through those stages where um, sometimes I would have the bleeding, sometimes it would not be there, and so I couldn't understand what's happening. At the same time, I was having a pain in my lower back, and I was getting constipation, which I had never had in my life. Never had. So I couldn't make out what's happening. I used to get tired very soon. Um, I was losing weight, but I was thinking that I'm, walking around here and there. And in a span of 1 year, I lost 15 kgs. Okay. So I thought that maybe, yeah, I'm working out and doing something. And I was also on the borderline of diabetes. So they had given me a tablet. So they told me that little bit weight I will lose from it. So I said, okay, maybe because of that. But in June, end June, I again got the lower abdomen attack. It's a very bad pain. Uh, I wish nobody gets that. It's something like if you take on a scale of 0 to 10, mine was like 8.5, 9. So even in 2018 that I got the attack, and even now it was that severe a pain. When I got admitted, they said ki there is a cyst in the ovary, but there is something more. The vaginal area seemed very in a very delicate stage. So the process started. I had to take a second opinion from another doctor, and he is Dr. Samar Gupte from Hinduja Hospital. He immediately told me to get admitted, and they said ki there are two options: either it will be a malignancy or it will be a TB. So we'll have to check on it. And so we did that, and I was still on a denial stage. I said it'll be, everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. It'll be taken care of. But a week later, after the biopsy report came, uh, fortunately, my daughter was there. She stays in the States, but she had come down for some time. And she said, Mom, we'll open the report together. So she was next to me. And when she opened it, I was stunned. I was like, I have got it. Because I've had cases in my family where um, earlier on, one of my aunts, she passed away in '84. That was an ovarian cancer, and it had spread to other areas. Um, I have one gynecologist aunt and her daughter who have got cancer twice, breast cancer, but in the first stage. Okay. And they detected, and they had done operation, and they went through the chemo and all the cycles. And then my mom also passed away through some form of cancer. She had bone marrow deficiency, but the doctors couldn't really make out what it was. And my eldest Masi, she passed away due to one, you're not able to take, the lungs were affected, so breathing issues were there. And then she also had breast cancer. So I had this knowledge and the history of what is there. And a lot from my mom's side, people have had cancer. But then for me, it was like, firstly, I was stunned. And then I said, oh, now even I have got it. It's like so many people in my family and extended family have got it. And now I'm also one of them. And for me, it was like, because of the meditation and everything I was doing, I wanted to work on that so that the future generations, they don't get these sort of sicknesses. I believe in that, that the more you keep your atmosphere pure, the more meditation you do, that energy spreads around. There's more positivity around you, and that others can feel it, and they absorb it. So when that happened, I was in a shock for, I don't know, probably an hour or so, and I was just stunned looking at it. And my daughter was there. I still remember, she was like, from my back, she was rubbing it, and both of us had tears in her eyes, and she kept saying, it's okay, Mom, we'll get out of it. We'll come out of it. So that was a big support for me, that she was there. And I was shaken totally, because it was saying cervical cancer and third stage A, okay, which meant that there is no operation. It can be done only in the first stage and not in the third stage. And also, there were cells which are poorly differentiated, which the doctor explained to me that they rapidly grow. The good part for me was that it was only in that cervical area, the cancer. So immediately he said, "Ki you come and we will explain to you." So he so beautifully explained to me that half of my fear that I had, it went away. Because he said, there is a cure for it. We have had cases before that patients in these stages also have recovered. It was not so maybe 20 years back, but now science has progressed a lot. So with that conviction, then I said, okay, what do we do? So he said, he gave me the options where all I could go for the treatment. And out of those, he suggested Kokilaben because he knew the radiation doctor there,
Yeah.
Dr. Talpatra. So he said, I can immediately get an appointment for you. So we did all the tests and everything. And I went to the Kokilaben. He also checked me up. This is like I'm talking of around the 10th of July last year.
Okay.
So he said, what do you want to do? I said, starting treatment immediately. My daughter also said that. And we started that. And he also gave the assurance, don't worry, this treatment through radiation can be, you will come out of it. So with that, I went ahead and he told me I'll have 25 sessions of radiation, two internal brachy that they call, where they insert the instruments inside the vagina, and then to that specific area, then they give the radiation.
Right.
And after that, I needed another 5 more doses, booster doses. So my way of dealing with it was, okay, now I've got it. Now what do I do? It was never, why have I got it? That never came, the self-pity part. It was like, okay, I have to go through this suffering. And that's the time when I don't know how many people will believe in this, but I got connected to Sai Baba that time. I knew that he's there and he's done so many miracles and everything. But I remembered his words of Shraddha and Saburi, which is faith and patience. And literally, I'll tell you, throughout that duration when I was going through the pain, because it's a lower organs, a lot of pain, those other organs also get affected. Like my intestines had got stuck to the uterus, some part of it, the rectum, and those had got stuck. So it was difficult. I mean, I had no control over my bowel movement. I had no control over my urinary tract and all that. And it would hurt immensely. So I would just pray and say to the universe, give me Shraddha, give me Saburi, give me strength. And literally, I would get that, I would get that strength to face it. So that positivity stayed in me. So in spite of all those things, they were, going through all those radiations. And I would keep sending updates because some family members were here, most of them are outside the city. I stay in Mumbai.
Yeah.
So I would send them the updates through WhatsApp. And what I did was, when I finished the first radiation, I replied by saying that first is over. Now only 24 left out of the 24 radiations. So what it made me do is I would look forward. Only 24 left, yeah. वो भी खत्म हो जाएगा. It gave me that positivity. It's okay. I can go through this. I've gone through so much. I can go through this also. With that thing, I just went on and on and on. And I had the support of everybody. Turn by turn, all my family members, my 2 sisters, my daughter stayed here for at least 5 weeks. My cousin brother from Delhi, he came. Another cousin from Singapore, another from Hyderabad. Some relatives are in the Pune, Mama, and they came. My friends, they also came, who were outside the city. They took turns, So a timetable was made. Who will accompany me for these cycles? And trust me, not once I have gone alone for any of these sessions. There was someone or the other accompanying me. And the doctor would say, never come alone, or there's someone or the other is always there with you. And I noticed that during the other patients that I was seeing, some of them didn't have anybody. They were coming alone, and some were not aware of it. Some were so down. Um, so I said, okay, if they are going through that, let me just give them a smile. Let me just boost them up. So that's what I would just keep doing a little by little. There was one lady who was on a wheelchair, and her family was accompanying her, and they were all, uh, what will happen. And so I just said, don't worry, this will also pass. I'm also going through the same thing. Mera bhi radiation abhi khatam hua hai, and I'm just going through this, and you will also get out of it. So I just boosted them up, and all of them were like chirpy and smiling and all that. So that's what I would keep doing. The more nurses I met, I would smile with them, talk to them, how are they doing, the other patients and all that. So, um, in fact, I remember one of my cousin brothers, he said that you forget you are also a patient,
Of course, yeah.
So
That is the kind of positivity you were getting. I can only
yes,
imagine.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And for me, it was like, it was not just my spiritual guides, everybody was there with me in the non-physical form. And so much support. There are people who were going to Tirupati, one of my friends, she went to Vatican. She went and prayed there. So there were people praying all over, So when you have that support, you really look forward, you say, okay, I can deal with it. I can deal with it, And that's how I went through it. So my radiation, everything, um, and I had to do a PET scan again 2 months later. So in November, I went there, and the last one, the radiations, what I had done, the doctor had said 95% of it is gone. So they were hoping that with the 2 months of recovery, everything would have gone. But when I did the PET scan again, they said it is still there. And now it is showing there is still 50% left. So I was really heartbroken. Because when you look forward and you feel you're free, and then you know that no, it's not gone, So I cried, definitely cried, How is it going to happen and what will happen? And again, family and friends were there to support me and pull me out of it. And again, they said, now we will have to do chemo. We can't give you radiation. You'll have to do chemo for it. So I had to take 6 sessions of chemo, which meant that I would lose my hair. So after the first chemo cycle, one day I went, I had a shower and noticed hair was coming out. And I realized that when it comes out, it starts hurting. I didn't know that. I saw my cousins and my aunt and going through it, and their hair used to fall. Then I noticed that it hurts. When it is coming out from the roots, it hurts like anything. It hurts. And so I said, and then it was falling everywhere here and there. I said, anyway, I'm going to get bald. I went to the parlor. I said, just shave it off. But just be careful because my scalp is very sensitive right now. And he did that, and it was nice and smooth. All the hair gone. So, in movies they show he'll keep doing like this. I would keep doing it. It felt very nice. So that's how I kept motivating myself and smiling at myself and talking a little, because I couldn't talk much to other people because I used to get tired with all the treatment and everything. At the same time, I started taking homeopathy also. The moment my radiation got over, I started with the homeopathy treatment because there are a lot of side effects, and homeopathy has no side effects. It takes care of all the things. So I found a lady, Dr. Jyoti Rao, who's in Bangalore, and I was taking her medicine, and it has helped me a lot, a lot. So with that, and plus during the chemo sessions, I would take healing, pranic healing, from an expert called Dr. Prashant. So he would say, one day before and 4 days during the chemo session, and 3 days after, 5 days, he will give me healing. And it really helped, So what happened was I didn't have the side effects of nausea, vomiting. None of these I experienced during the chemo because I was taking additional homeopathy and healing sessions. The only thing I felt was tiredness for the first 3-4 days. After that, I would go back into my routine. I diligently followed all the diet that the doctors had said. Have a high protein diet and, have the other sprouts and salads and everything. And they had said don't have any spices and no fried stuff. I cut it off completely. This is what my body wants. And I started listening to my body, what my body wants. So, as I had said in the beginning, that body, mind, soul balance I wanted to create, I started doing that. So the body would keep telling me, this is, like I couldn't digest palak, I couldn't digest rajma, chole. So I said, okay, for some time, I'm not going to have all these things. And accordingly, I would have it, paneer, um, nachni porridge, ragi porridge, I would have. So I have this, what do you say, protein milkshakes, high amount of proteins I had to take. So I kept doing it, kept doing it. This, in January, again, I had done a PET scan in which they said that the malignancy is not there, but the thickening of the wall is still there. So, to be on the safer side, we will complete the balance 3 doses of chemo. And the 19th March was the last uh, chemo session that I had, just before the lockdown. See the God's grace, just see it. 19th was the last one, and I think 24th or 25th, the lockdown started.
Lockdown came into place, yes.
Yeah. So I could then totally rest at home, totally. There are people at home, some of my friends who've been staying with me. So they're basically paying us, Madi and Yogita. I'm purposely taking all these people's names because they need to be given credit.
Yeah.
So they literally took care of my food because we couldn't get the servant. So they would take care of the food and um, all my needs. And slowly, my energy started coming up. I do have other side effects um, because I cannot walk around too much. My joints have become weak. My muscles became weak. So again, the homeopathy treatment has helped. And I've stayed positive. I said, ki, I'm strong and healthy. I'm strong and healthy is the affirmation I keep giving myself. So end July, finally, again, I went and did the PET scan after postponing it for 3 months. Because of the lockdown, I was not getting out. It's I would have been more susceptible to catching the virus. So the doctors told me to delay it, and then I went, and it came all positives. They're saying that there is nothing there. Not only that, the cysts that I had in the ovary, they had also gone.
Wow.
Yes, they had also gone. So the doctor was very happy. He did my examination, the radiation doctor, and he was very happy. He said, from where to where? I mean, it was a very serious case. And from there now, a year later, we are saying that you're free from it. So I just now, the only thing I have to do is the follow-up visits. So like the next one will be end October. So that's what I do. And another thing what happened during this phase when I was going for my treatments, I keep having these interactions with the universe, the voices that keep coming. So there was one voice which keeps saying that through this, I have to inspire people. And so I made a couple of videos and I shared my experiences with many people. In fact, there is one, my friend's sister-in-law in the US, she is going through advanced stage of cancer, intestine and liver and everything. So I've been motivating her, and I'm just telling her, take it positively. And we don't just talk about cancer. We're just talking about other things also. So she can, look at things, look up to things and say, there is more to life.
Yes, definitely.
So that is what I've been doing. And I want to more and more, reach out to people and help them. There is a way, and I know in many places people are alone. They don't have any help. So in whichever way I'm like, I like the way your organization is also doing. That there's so many things that people don't know. How do we go about it? What do we do? Um, Funds becomes a problem. Where do you get so much funds from? Fortunately for me, I had an insurance claim, so I got the money for it. But some of these treatments are very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So these guidances are there, and I'm glad you people are, uh, you know, telling these people what to do and what they cannot do. Uh,
It's very easy to get, uh, misguided,
yes.
and
Yes.
then lose that much money, and then not get the result that you actually should be getting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So in my
So,
case, I had like I said, my gynec Masi was there, so she
mhm.
was there throughout to guide me. She kept saying there is something more to it, something more to it, so we have to look into it. So she would keep following up. This is done, this is done. She would talk to the doctors. So the doctors, when you have another doctor, then they can talk in that language,
Yes.
and and then it becomes comfortable, and so that helped me a lot because having a family doctor, she could understand the jargons, the what the terminologies are, and she conveyed them to us in our way, which we can understand. So by God's grace, I tell you, I got timely help. I got very good doctors who treated me immediately. My chemo doctors, Dr. Sandeep Goel, he was also there, who helped me out. All my relatives, friends, they've all motivated me and kept me there. And of course, yes, the positive spirit has to be there from you within. Uh, Without that, it's just not possible. And for me, it was like He is there. The Almighty, the Divine is there, whether it is in a Durga form or whether it is Shiva form. I believe in Shiva and Shakti. So they're all there to support us. We just have to ask for help and we get it. So it was my turn to receive all the love from people. And with an open heart, I did that and I received a lot of love. So now I'm ready to give a lot of love to people.
Oh, that's amazing. Now you're ready to give. Wow.
Yes. I was giving before also, but I was not taking care of myself.
Yeah,
Now I know that, uh, taking care of yourself first is the most important thing. Then only we can give to other people.
absolutely. Your cup should be full. Only then can you give others.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very true. It's very true. And
Yeah.
now you've realized how much your body means to you. That kind of
Yes.
self love, the self
Yes.
examination. You looking out if there is something your body is trying to tell you. The connection you have with your body
Right.
has increased multifold.
True. Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. So when there are times earlier on, I used to not know. I used to eat sweets a lot, but the craving was there.
I
And
am
now,
also a sweet. I also have a sweet tooth. Yes.
yeah. But from all this, I realized that the craving was not for the physical sweet. The body actually wanted its nutrients, but I did not understand it, and I was just pumping it sweets. So
Mm.
as a result, it would always remain hungry because what nutrients the body wanted, I'm not giving. And sugar and uh, Cadbury's and chocolates and all, they do not give that.
It's
So they
just very temporary.
just
Yeah.
temporary, just the mind. They just soothe the mind. And what on an emotional level, I wanted the sweetness, the love. So that would not suffice from that chocolate that I'm having.
Hmm.
I got that sweetness from within. I started loving myself deeply. I started loving my body deeply. So the body also responded and started giving me that. And the amount of love and affection that I got from everybody, now I don't have this craving for the sweets.
It's just the way to go. I mean, you have
Yes,
coped with it so well that
yes,
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just us. We come alone, we go alone. So
yes,
the only thing that stays with us is this body that we have,
yes, absolutely.
and we can only expect it to stay. We can't expect anybody else to stay.
Yes. So the body is a carrier, and in Other ways, if you can look at it, it's a temple.
Mm.
The way we sit for dhyan also, you will notice it is in the posture of in a triangle pyramid form. It's like this. This is the head part, and this is the bottom part. So in temples and everywhere, you will find that it is in that position only. The temples are in that form. It points upwards.
Yes.
If you've seen the temple. So all this, it made me realize that this is my temple. I need to respect it. I need to take care of it. And the God resides here within me. You call it divine, you call it Jesus, any name you want to give. That energy is there within me. Let me value that. And that has given me the results.
And that too at such an advanced stage, at the age
Yes.
that you are in, like
Yes.
you were nearing menopause, you just told me. So it is
I'm 55 now.
Yeah, it's not an easy feat to pull off at this age, and still have the positive mind. But definitely, your family has stood beside you. You just told me they have all been there. They have, and tell us more about the caregivers at the hospital, the doctors, the nurses, how you were treated with your treatments there.
They were like, they were very, like all these, the Hinduja doctor, he was like, to the point, but very smoothly he conveyed what is really happening, what is the situation. He never hid anything from me. And he said, you can get through it. Don't worry, it will come out of it. He would keep motivating me, give me inspirations. Whenever I had some doubts, I messaged him, I called him. He would immediately reply. Whichever way he could, he did. He motivated me in that way. In Kokilaben, where my treatment was going on, from people like the security people to the lift people, I would smile with all of them. They had also become friends with me. They would also namaste and everything. The radiation team were there. You had the receptionists, and then the nurses were there. They were all very, very welcoming, very, telling with a smile on their face. And I think Dr. Talpatra needs to be acknowledged because he's the head of that team there. He was very strict with these nurses. If things are not in place, he would shout. It has to be there. These patients are relying on us. They have come here for a treatment. We have to have these equipments with us and these facilities. So he was like, they come first. We have to take care of their comforts, the patients. And accordingly, he has built up the team there. So even the receptionists who are there, they are also very affectionate, and they would, they don't rough you up. They will say, okay, this is how it is. This is the treatment. In this radiation part, I had to pay the lump sum, and then the treatment started.
Okay.
So that's one problem some people might face, where they don't have that much money. But they were all throughout, the nurses, even if they're taking my blood pressure, or as the radiation department people, when they would take me in, they would be patient. They would understand what I'm going through, because it's a lot that you're going through inside, emotionally, physically. A lot of churning is happening. The radiation that you're going through, the chemo that you're going through, there is a lot of heat in the body. When the chemo, when I was to take, my head would always be hot. My body would be hot. There'd be heat coming out from my soul, so much so that I wouldn't be able to keep a sheet on top of me. So there's a lot of things going on inside. Some food items you can't, they don't suit you. By God's grace, I did not have that much of problems. I think because I took the homeopathy and healing. But the other patients that I would interact with when I was taking my chemo sessions, they had issues. They could not have, they had a lot of nausea, vomiting. Even my cousin and my aunt who had gone through the cancer, they also said they had all these issues. So it's a lot that the person has to go through when you have cancer. And what they need at that moment is the love and affection and that motivation that you can come out of it. And that is what I got from all of the support staff, the doctors and family, friends. They all motivated me. So
It
I'm
was a
just
group effort of
group
everybody
effort. Yes, yes,
coming together, the doctors, your family, the
yes,
nurses. Like you said, it is also what you gave out as well.
yes, yes.
Give and you will receive.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So,
That cycle has to be complete. It's like it has to go like this.
yeah.
It can't be just receiving or giving.
Uh,
So I understood that, and I said, let me practice it then.
definitely. That has come to your benefit at the end of the day. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
What about your lifestyle before cancer?
Okay. I have been a very bindas person. So earlier on in my college days, I've done a lot of masti. I was a rebellion. You ask my family members, I was short tempered. I was very angry. Uh, uh, because of a lot of churnings, I was trying to find out who am I. And so somewhere uh, in my academics, I was not so good. But I did a lot of masti. I've done all of them.
Yeah.
All of those bunk करके movie देखना ये वो सब कुछ है. So I've done that, but I was continuously searching what more. Then I got married. Unfortunately, that did not work. But the beautiful part is I got a daughter who helped me to really understand and enjoy motherhood. So I was not only just a mother to her, I like in her school, she has a group of some 6, 7 friends. So I'm a group mother to all of them.
Oh, brilliant.
And where I was where I was working as a recruitment consultant, to many of them, I had become not only, I was more than a consultant to them. I was more, who was there to guide them, help them, just that I'm there. That assurance when you have that there is someone with you all the time. So I started doing that, of helping people, and being more than just a consultant, as I said.
Right.
Yeah. So I did all that. In the meantime, I was working towards the healing processes. So I've learned various techniques of healing. I'm good at that. Definitely,
Yeah.
that's one of my assets. And some years back, I was going through that midlife crisis, and I was wondering what to do and all that. So one of my friends, Richa, was telling me, Ki, what is it that you're really passionate about? You would like to do which you've not done. This is two things come to my mind. One is uh, painting, and one is music. I love listening to all types of music. It's not just except for rock, which is I can't hear too much, but it's classical. You have bhajan, you have old Hindi songs, new also I'll hear some English songs. So I said I would like to learn maybe a guitar or uh, painting, and eventually we came down to sketching.
Okay.
So I got into sketching, and then I did not go into any class. I learned online YouTube. Through there, I learned, YouTube and
Amazing.
those places. And I do nice portraits.
Wow.
Yes, I do that. It's just that during this treatment, I've not been able to do. Uh, you don't have that uh, mental wavelength to do all those things.
True.
So that's gone to the backstage, but I enjoy doing those things. So more and more, I started understanding who am I. I understood why I have come here. That I have come here to do seva, service. And so accordingly, then I started working towards that direction, and living life more in the present. And literally during this treatment, I have really understood that. You have all these spiritual people, Thich Nhat Hanh and Ram Das, and everybody saying that, Eckhart Tolle also says that, live in the moment, not be in the past, nor in the future. And I have literally done that because I left behind all the worries, whatever these sadness and anger and everything that I had. I left all that behind because that is garbage. I'm just carrying that baggage, and it was weighing down on me. My shoulders used to ache, and that's one of the reasons why people sometimes get headache and all that. I don't get all those now because I don't have those worries with me.
You're living free.
Free, absolutely free. I don't have any worries about the future because I know what my needs are. There's a difference between the needs and the wants.
Yes, yes.
The wants are more, I want this, I want this, I want this, and you just keep doing that. And needs is like, I need to have the apple now. That is the need. That's it. So it has helped me to become clear about it, and none of these anxieties, because I know what I need will come to me. And one of the most important things that I have done is when we talk of surrender, when we talk of samarpan, it has taken me many years to actually do that. And time and again, universe tests you.
Yes.
Yes. They will say that, okay, you have faith, let us see. So I have gone through all those things. So when in 2018 I had that attack, I had this now. I said, okay, you want me to go through it? I will go through it. I anyway have to go through the suffering. And the choice is with me. Do I take it with a smile or do I take it with a, frown on my face?
Absolutely. So well put.
Yes.
So simple but well put. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just said, okay, I'll take it with a smile. And I tell you, when you surrender, na, I like the word samarpan more than surrender. I have this. मैं कुछ भी नहीं हूँ. You are everything. That energy in front of me is everything, and I have to just keep working on it. And there's so much of pressure off you, that, and then you can enjoy life and you can be in the moment. So like I did not have this worries ki, Abhi now we are going to have this talk. What will I talk? How will I do? No, when it happens, it happens. No, I will talk at that time, So that's the beauty. I wish all of us live that way. And that is my goal, to help people. We have to go through the suffering. We have no other choice because of our karmas and everything. But I want people to, face this with a smile, go through it, and clear all the baggages and live life in the moment. Enjoy the now.
If only it were that easy.
Initially, anything you do is difficult. See, like when we started as a baby, started doing things, they were difficult. But if you notice any baby, they don't get disheartened. They will keep trying. We as elders may laugh at them, when, like a parrot, we will repeat the words and everything. But the child doesn't get disheartened, if you notice. The child will keep trying. The learner in the child is always there.
Because as humans, I feel we all have that spirit, the spirit of endurance.
Yes.
It's always try to never give up.
Yes.
It's a human instinct.
Yes.
Eventually, we live on the planet and let trauma affect us and make us something else when we can choose to become that or not become.
Yes. And another secret I will tell you is that keep the child in you always alive. Yes. Because when we, the society, unfortunately, what we have learned and come with, it makes us unlearn all that and say, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're not supposed to do. You have to keep studying so that you can do well and, get a degree. And then, you have this responsibility and take care of the family and all that thing. And I'm like, you can do all that simultaneously. Why can't the child be there, throughout and you enjoy the whole process? But history becomes so boring, geography becomes so boring. So if it is being made in a playful way, it is like one of my cousin brothers. He's an HR in one of the good companies. He enjoys his work tremendously. He has kept the child in him alive, so he enjoys it. He will do all his activities, exercise. But when he's with workers also, he will be cracking jokes with them. And it's a very playful atmosphere. It is not something like, oh my God, I have to go to work.
Yeah.
Not that way.
To always learn, to always keep on learning new
Yes.
things
Yes.
that come our way. The attitude
Yes.
should always be of a child. Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
What was your first reaction, ma'am, when you first got the report that said, okay, now I'm cancer free?
Oh, actually, before that only I started feeling it. So I was every time updating my daughter Shruti on the WhatsApp. We used to have video calls.
Right.
And so when one day I called her up and I started crying on the phone, and she didn't know how to react to it. She was wondering what happened, Emo. I told her, these are tears of joy, because each movement, like I had started getting control of the bowel movement, urinary things. I was able to digest food. The heat in my body had slowly started going down.
You're
The
feeling
energy,
it.
the energy was coming back. So I told her ki this is in probably end July, August sometime. No, first week of July, because end July I did the test, and I told her, I said, 1 year before I was in a different state. I had just been detected. I was in a terrible state with a lot of pain and all that. And now I am here totally free. I feel it inside. I'm totally free. And I was so grateful to the universe, so grateful that it has come, it helped me to come out of it. And I was so overjoyed. Then when the test came, I spoke with the family, and I spoke to them and also. So they were also very happy, and I was also elated. It's difficult to express in words
Yeah.
specifically. Yeah, but it is a very humbling feeling, a very grateful feeling that I have been one of the fortunate people who've been able to survive that. There are others who are just battling through it. Now we have Sanjay Dutt who's battling through it now.
Yeah.
And I keep praying for him that he also come out of it, that comes out. So it's a lot that I've seen people suffer through. There were some who have, their tongues have been cut off, so they can't talk. There were some who had, the family had disowned them, and they were just there with only one or two people around. So a lot of suffering others are going through. So in that way, I feel very grateful that, I've been blessed with that, and I've been able to come out of it. That the universe has helped me to come out of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And you said grateful, gratitude. That's
Yes.
the word, right? It's like
Yes.
a second, what do you say, a comeback.
Oh yes, definitely.
The comeback is always greater than the setback, right? There's a saying.
Yes.
So that is where you're at right now.
True.
The greatness in your words and in your power, in so much of positivity and power in the way you're talking right now.
Yeah.
Definitely bring it on. I'm ready to face anything.
Absolutely. And that is what I want to share with all the other cancer patients or other people who are suffering. Take it on.
Please tell us what do you have to say to everybody out there, caregivers, patients, survivors? What is your message to them? Words of wisdom. Tell us.
Well, caregivers, you need to be patient. You need to be just there, understand the situation. Because I tell you, when my family would first see me on the video, I was smiling and talking and all that. But when they came and stayed with me, they saw me go through it, and they said, "Oh my God, you're going through so much of pain and suffering." So we have to understand what that patient is going through. Give that support to that patient. I'm there with you. Come what may, I'm there with you. And that is a huge support. And the nurses and everybody, they are trained, so they will also take care. They smile. At least in Kokilaben, I've had a very good experience.
Yeah.
The nurses were, of course, more from Kerala, so communication was a little difficult, but yeah, they would smile also. They would say, "Don't worry." And if they used to prick here and there, so sometimes it would pain. So then they would say sorry, and then so
Yeah.
that is there. And the patients never lose hope. Hope is the strength that we have. As Sai Baba says, Shraddha and Saburi. Just have that faith and patience and accept what is coming to us. Accept it. That gives us the strength to handle the situation.
Right.
Rather than asking why it has happened to me, you will not find the answer there. There, only the mind is talking. You have to talk from the heart. So the heart will then guide you and it will give you the strength. So, okay, I have got it. There's no point going into the why. Now, how do I go about it? What do I do next? What are the steps? That gives you the strength. That gives you the motivation. That gives you the positivity. And whenever there are moments when you feel depressed. The negative thoughts do come. It's not that you're always positive. Then you have to keep talking to yourself. Have that dialogue. Listen to some light music. I used to listen to the comedy movies. Something light which is going on, which will and keep playing some music in the background, whichever you connect to. For me, it was bhajans. Some other people, it could be just instrumental music, but that's
Very
soothing.
soothing.
Yes, it's very soothing. It soothes your mind. The energy in the house also, it becomes calm. Whatever the negativities are there, they all go away. That has been my experience. Okay, so all these combined, they really help.
If you were to sum it up, your entire journey in like a sentence and give us a message, what would that be? So far, your journey as Sharmila, who went through and is now a survivor, a cancer warrior, I would say.
Firstly, I will say I don't agree with the warrior part.
Okay.
The fighter part. Because we are not come here to fight or anything. As I said, when you do a surrender, you think of either there is a victory or you're surrendering in a war. Those are the two things.
Yeah.
But here it is not that way. In when you're going through life, when you say samarpan, सब कुछ है मेरा, मैं समर्पण कर रही हूँ, मेरा कुछ नहीं है. So you are feeling so light and free, and you're able to enjoy life. It took me so many years to come to that state. I used to keep fighting, and for what? That's what I've realized. So just go with the flow, is what I would say. Just go with the flow, like the river. You have the river going smoothly sometimes, and sometimes there are strong waves on it. But when you look at it, there is a lot that you can learn from that also. It's full of the strength and everything, and it takes with the stones, the soil, and people, and it nourishes people also. So there's a lot in that, and believe in oneself.
Oh,
just believe in oneself. And another thing I will say is that we live a life more what others will say, and we're mostly wanting to please other people. And based on that, then many of us, I would say, live a life that way. I was one of them who used to do that. And then I realized, no, I come first. So I started looking within. I started having a dialogue with myself within. And from there, all these messages then come. That talk with the soul, and like when all this COVID thing is going on, I'm able to take it positively. There is a reason why it is all happening. There's a reason why all over the world we are going through this, because we have to go within. We have to spend time with ourselves. We have done too much of outdoor, ye masti, wo masti. You have not taken care of nature. You have to do that now. So when you look within, all this thing happens easily, gracefully, effortlessly.
It's so true what you just said, even with relation to the COVID. I would completely agree. This is a time for us to reflect and what all we not doing wrong, but what all we could do and handle better.
Yes.
That would be the more appropriate way of seeing things.
Yes. Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
sense of reflection is what will get us forward, and what will keep us going through these days,
Yes.
these trying
And
times.
as humans, we are transiting. We are evolving. We are not just at the third dimensional level. We are moving higher and higher. The energy levels are also increasing.
Yes.
So accordingly, we have to be ready for that, to receive that. What gracefully the Almighty is giving us.
So true, ma'am. So true. Thank you so much for being with us today, taking the
Thank
time
you very
out.
much for giving me the opportunity so that I can share this and more people can benefit from it.
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely.
And let
And
me know if any way I can be of service.
oh, okay. Definitely. We'll let you know about that also.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much on behalf of zenonco.io and Love Heals Cancer. I really want to thank you, Sharmila ma'am.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Keep
Yes.
inspiring all of us. It was a beautiful journey that you just shared. And I'm sure it's going to benefit a lot of people. A lot of queries answered there. A lot
Sure.
of queries, information given,
Yeah.
I would say. Right? Take
Yes.
care. Keep
Okay.
inspiring all of us. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day ahead.
You too. Yes.